Hi there, in this video I will show you how to put together the layered flower SVG card, which is a free SVG from Simply Crafty SVGs. So this is the card we're going to make. So again, this is a free card from Simply Crafty SVGs, and it doesn't come with this tag per se. I used a different tag for this one, but you can see I'm just calling it a layered card. So it's this flower is layered cuts, and then the actual stem, and then inside's just a plain pattern panel, and then you could put your sentiment over here as an alternate. I mean, you can always put one in here that's underneath the flower piece, but that's up to you. So I did use American Crafts textured cardstock, 80 pounds. But you know, whatever your choice. It's just this does get a little heavy. It's because of it's just partial cut, but it's just fun because you can see the pattern paper around it. So I'm going to put that aside, and I'll show you the tag that comes with it. So we're going to use this for the middle, one of these for the middle of the flower. So we'll put that aside. And then we have the tag. So the tag doesn't come with the sentiment, so you can put whatever you want. I used the Cricut to use really a non-line to draw one with a pen. But I'm going to use the hello, which you can see I put this tag and I put it with a little piece of foam tape to pop it up a little bit and just centered it on that background portion. But here's another one. So I have different variations for different cards because I am going to make more. So so whatever you want to do, you can write, or you can put your own sentiment. Like this is something that I print and cut from Cricut Design Space. So we have that. We'll put that on last. Then we have the pieces for the flowers. We have the stem pieces. So we're just going to layer all these pieces first. And then we have the flower pieces. And then this is for the inside of the card where I embossed it with a Cuttlebug embossing folder. And that'll fold over like that. So you just want to make sure you score your card. Whether you cut the dashed line or you use a solid line, you'll want to score it nice and well. And this is a little bit flimsy until you put that top piece on. And you'll see shortly. So let's go ahead and put these aside just for a moment. And then we'll work on layering all these. So we have the way it's going to go is this piece with the smaller amount of cuts in it, or smaller openings, and then this will go on it. So you have to make sure you know which way it's going to go, and it'll center. So you'll just center it. So you have the offset on the inside. So you'll just have to adjust it a little bit as you go, and then this will go on the top. So you could do it in any order you like. I can put that on the top first, or you can go from the bottom to top. So I'll do that. So when you're doing that, you will probably want a fine tip applicator of some sort. There's a couple you can use, but I just use this one that I put my art glitter glue in. So this is easier than some of the finer pieces. I'm just going to go around, and I don't want to get too close to the edge, but I need to get close to the edge at the same time. So there's different methods, just depends on whether you're familiar with piecing or not. Get this piece out of my way. One thing I always suggest too, and I just did this right before this video, is to clean out if you have a fine tip applicator, to clean out, just take off the tip and wash it in warm water and some soap to clear out any dry glue that gets stuck in there, because that does happen over time. You need to do that with, I would suggest doing that with any of your glue tips. You can just take them right off and clean them. It's made a world of difference for a lot of my glues, including the bottles, because I do occasionally use larger bottles. So I'm not going to get perfect, but I want to be careful not getting glue around the holes. Then I'm going to carefully center it. The nice thing about not getting glued close to the edges is that you have a little wiggle room. So it depends on, of course, you can use any adhesive you like, but the reason I use glue or wet glue is because I have a little wiggle room. So this is a little bit different. So there's a couple things. You can use this and you have to do it very fine around the edges, just like we did the other one. But there's other tools like this. And I'll demonstrate this, I think, on the next one. But this little zig pen is good for small areas. So I'll do that in a minute so you can see how that one works. But I'm going to use this because it's got more glue in it. And it will take less time for me to use. So, but you do have to be really careful because you don't want the glue showing up on the other side. So that's the only thing. The other option is, I don't have a lot of vinyl, but if you wanted to layer it with vinyl, you could do that as well. Because, you know, now everybody seems to have a lot of vinyl around. I have some, I just don't have the colors I would want to. I have more of the paper colors I like. So we'll just, once I'm done, I'll jump to the next step. So the biggest thing about the glue is that it dries before it could dry before you get to the end here. So I'm just going to line this up. So just make sure you have it situated, and I'm going to make sure it's centered in the middle. And then rotate it a bit. I'm going to just do two sides here, get them in place. And you do hear my dogs barking outside, so I apologize for that. And I do have a little piece that didn't cut out right and I didn't catch it, so I'm just gonna go and get it out there. See if I can do it carefully. You want to catch those before that, but it's not a huge deal, but it still bothers me a little bit. Okay, I got that little piece out. So now I'm just going to put this top piece on. And I'm just going to line it up around that opening, that cutout edge. And there you go. And you could put a different color if you wanted to, if you wanted not to print it the same as this color, but I tried to limit the color so it'd be an easier card to make. So that little scissor thing here. And then here we're going to put this on, layer this with, let me close my other applicator here. And we're going to use this zig pen, 2A glue. So making sure this is the textured side up, I'm going to put it down. And the way this works is you kind of squeeze it and it comes out, and you probably can barely see it, but what's nice about this, it has a little glue tip, so you can just run it along. And as the key to this particular one, they say on the side, and I haven't really tested it, but when it's wet, it's more permanent than when it's dry, but when it's dry, it still works as a temporary glue. So if it dries up a little bit, it'll still work. But it's easy to get in these thin areas. Yeah, and then some people use Xyrons. I'm not, it just must be me, but I'm not the best at using Xyrons, but I have them. Xyron is just a little thing, if you don't know, you can just run it through, and it has these sticky adhesive tapes, and then you run it through, and then you just take it off this tape, and it keeps the sticky on the back of the piece that's cut. It's like a sticker machine. Anyways, so the biggest struggle here, or the challenge, will get it lined up. So you want to kind of line it up. I'm going to line it up to the bottom here. I'm going to just place it lightly. I'm going to pick it up carefully and get it centered on there, because this piece is, it'll line up to the edges, so you just want to line up the edges, and with your fingers you can get it in the right spot. So you can kind of feel it before it dries, and then put more pressure. So I was almost perfect, not quite. So now we're going to get the card. We're almost done. It's pretty fast card. I'm going to use this little adhesive dispenser. I normally don't use them, but this is the Xyron one. I do have the ATG, if you know, Scotch Advanced Tape Glider, but I always have some difficulty with my tape. It gets stuck a lot, so I like this. This is another one. I got a deal on it, and it works pretty well. So I know I don't use a lot of adhesive like this, adhesive runners, but whatever your favorite is, I wouldn't particularly recommend one, but I mean, this one's pretty good, but I haven't. It's just an easy way to put adhesive on without getting wet glue. I'm just going to center it, so from the sides to the top, you kind of can see the space. So that's the inside of the card. Again, if you have a light colored card, you can go ahead and write your sentiment on this side. Because, you know, this can be really, I made this for a generic card that can be used for most any occasion, of course, except I'm sure a lot of, I don't know many men that would want a flower card, but at least for like thank yous, thinking of you, get wells, that kind of thing. Or even a sympathy card you could use it for. So once we have that on there, what I'm going to do is open this up, because I don't, when I glue this flower piece on, I don't want it to inadvertently get glue on this. So I'm going to just go ahead and do this. But first what we're going to do is this piece. And the reason we're going to do this first, because we're going to line it up like you see, all the way down to the right, and the leaf, and then this will only line up one way. So it won't do this one, but it'll do this one. So just make sure you turn it. I'm just going to put it up here at the same, so I know which angle it's going to be. But just make sure you're aware of that. I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. So this has, the top of this has a weird shape that only fits on in between for the opening petals, because they're not, it's not completely symmetric. So just line it up to this right edge of the card, and you can flip it over and make sure. So this just goes up along this edge here, and then this leaf right here will give this a little bit more stability when it opens. So you know it's a thin cut, but having that layer on there gives it more stability. So now I'm going to come down here, make sure I'm at the right angle. So this little petal, one of the petals is going to go overlap. So you could do a little foam tape, but you can see that this lines up perfectly right here. So we're just going to go ahead and add some glue to the back. And then I just have to make sure that I angle it onto the card shape. But again, I'm going to do that so I don't get any glue. So when you flip it over to put the glue on it, it's possible that you may lose its orientation. So if you want to write a little, put a little pencil mark or something, you can do that. So I just got lucky, it's in the right orientation. And we're just lining it up to the edge here. If you wanted to flip over, make sure you could always do that too. So it's lined up pretty well. If it's not completely perfect, you just do your best to get it into that shape. And now we can go ahead and add the tag. Again, you can add your own tag, but it comes with a blank tag that you can write whatever you want or stamp something on it. If you have a stamp, or you can just use your own stamp or whatever it is, whatever you craft with. I'm going to just add one of these to the middle, I believe. Let me see how I like it. Just to give it a little contrast. So you do that. So these are little enamel dots. and just fits perfectly in that middle part. And these are Doodlebug design, but they have other brands out there, so it was just something I bought different colors and I use them occasionally. And then, like I said, pick your tag, write what you want, and then just add it. And that's it. So we're just going to go ahead and add this tag. If you do like this freebie or any of my others, I would appreciate a little thumbs up on the videos. So if you can thumbs up below and or subscribe. And if you do subscribe, you'll be notified when we have new videos for new designs, including freebies. And also I have an occasional tutorial out there. So that just finishes it. So you could really just customize it beyond this at this point. That's up to you. Again, here's the other card that I made. And you can see I made this one a birthday card and used a different tag. And I put a little glitter glue up here and a little gemstone thing, adhesive gemstone. And this one, it's just a hello card I'm going to just send to one of my family members to tell them I'm thinking about them during this time, because this was filmed during the coronavirus pandemic. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and I thank you so much for watching, and until next time.